Hey, Abbott, what time is it?
It's time for the Abbott and Costello show. We're on the air for ABC here in Hollywood.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go with the Abbott and Costello show.
It's the Abbott and Costello Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood tonight for your listening pleasure with Susan Miller and the music of Matty Malney. Hold on to your chairs, folks, for here they are, Bud Abbott and Lou Costello.
All right, Costello, all right.
Oh, hey, Abbott, what's the matter with you?
Oh, I had a terrible cold, so I took some cold medicine, some nose drops, a Broma-Seltzer, an aspirin, an Alka-Seltzer, some sulfa drugs, and some penicillin.
Get your programs, folks. You can't tell Abbott's stomach from a drugstore. Get your programs, folks.
Oh, quiet, Costello. You know that spring is officially here. Where, Bud, in California, you can walk through the park in March, inhaling the balmy summer air.
You'll have to talk louder, Abbott. I can't hear you through these earmuffs.
Talk sense. Well, what's the matter with California?
Oh, it's the fog, Abbott. Would you believe it was so foggy this morning that Uncle Mike milked the cow for 10 minutes before he found out he was shaking hands with himself?
Well, Los Angeles is the garden spot of the world. Everything is close by. You can go skiing at Big Bear, fishing at Lake Arrowhead, sunbathing at Palm Springs. Say, come to think of it, the nicest thing about living in Los Angeles is that you don't have to stay there.
Ooh, what you said. Abbott, for a thing like that, they can send over a plumber and cut off your orange juice.
You know, I wonder why they call it the City of the Angels.
Cross Sunset Boulevard against the lights. You'll find out. My grandfather, Joe Boswell, was the oldest man in California, Abbott. He's 104 years old, has never been sick a day in his life.
And he's lived in California all his life?
No, he just got here yesterday.
Oh. Yesterday?
Yes, and he's been sicker than a dog ever since.
Costello, how can you be so stupid?
I just let nature take its course.
Before the boys get any further involved in nonsense, here's a thought that makes good sense. Well, spring is here. At least it's officially here, although the weather in some parts of the country may not show it. No, you can't just look at a calendar and accurately forecast the weather. But you can glance at a calendar and know what sort of entertainment to expect. For instance, take a date in any month, as long as it falls on a Wednesday, and you can rest assured you will enjoy outstanding entertainment over most ABC stations. Wednesday night's the night we bring you Lionel Barrymore in Mayor of the Town, and Vox Pop, and of course, Abbott and Costello, who are followed by Groucho Marx's hilarious quiz show. Then comes the great Bing Crosby show with Bing's wonderful songs and fun with famous guest stars. The Groaners followed by the sparkling Tony Martin show featuring that likable comedian, irrepressible Alan Young. Yes, on Wednesday night, you can be sure of top entertainment on ABC. And now back to ABC's Abbott and Costello show.
Costello, where were you going with that homely girl this afternoon?
Well, I got her a date with a Russian diplomat.
Now, wait a minute. A Russian diplomat? Wouldn't you out with an ugly girl like that?
Abbott, the way things are now, those Russians will grab anything.
Right. Costello, you're a dope. In fact, I think you were born dopey.
I was not, and I have no respect for people that are born dopey. I have worked hard to get where I am. I am a self-made dope.
Hey, Lou, I notice you've been hanging around the library lately. I'm glad to see that you've been taking an interest in books.
What books? I'm going steady with the librarian. Sylvia Specticals. What a girl, Abbott. Yesterday, she kissed me.
Well, now, wait a minute. You should be ashamed of yourself, making love in a public library. Where did she kiss you?
Between the novels and the natural history.
Well, isn't the library an awkward place to have a romance?
You said it. Just when she was going to kiss me for the third time, she had to wait on a customer.
And what happened?
She put a bookmark in my mouth so she wouldn't lose her place.
Well, Sylvia Specticals...
I just lost my place.
Sylvia Specticals sounds like quite a girl. What is she like?
Thank you ever so much.
What kind of a girl is she, Lou?
Oh, she looks just like Ingrid Bergman, except that her eyes are smaller, her nose is bigger, her mouth is wider, her head is kind of pointed. Oh, you'd better forget about Ingrid Bergman. Did you ever see Lassie?
Costello, Lassie is a dog. Are you getting dumber every day?
Well, I'm getting older.
Yeah. You make insulting remarks about everybody. You insulted Miss Specticals. You're always insulting my wife, and tonight the great actor Frank Nelson is coming over here. And remember, I don't want you to insult him.
Yeah? Well, suppose he insults me first.
Wait a minute. How could Frank
It
Nelson...
could be.
Wait a minute, though. How could Frank Nelson insult you? What could he call you that you haven't been called already?
Well, let me see.
Think it over. Think it over carefully.
That's odd. I can't think of anything right now.
Yeah.
But he might.
Yeah, never mind. I don't think so. Never mind that. Now, when Mr. Nelson gets here, be pleasant. Discuss things that will be of interest to him. For instance, Mr. Nelson is a great hunter. He likes big game.
Big game?
That's right.
Okay, I'll feed him for $2. I'll show him how to make a 9 the hard way. 3 threes.
I'm only trying to tell you that Mr. Nelson hunts big game, wild animals. For instance, water bison. Did you ever see a water bison?
Sure. I saw one this morning in the drugstore.
You saw a water bison in the drugstore?
They had a sale. 50 cents for a washcloth and a cake of soap and a water bison.
Costello, you are impossible. I'm talking about the kind of hunting Frank Nelson is interested in. Hunting in India and Africa. Have you ever been on a safari?
Why, certainly. I used to cross the Hudson River on the ferry. The Hoboken Safari.
No. Your dummy safari is a hunting party that hunts lions and tigers.
Well, why do you say so? I shot a lion once when I was in Africa. I saw the lion, then I raised my gun and I fired a shot for Mama, and the lion dropped.
A shot for Mama?
Sure. When I left home, my mama said, don't forget, every day you must drop me a line.
Costello, I'm talking about ferocious lions. Did you ever stalk a lion?
Why should I talk to a lion? The lion didn't say nothing to me.
No, you didn't. Tell me, I'll explain it to you. When you're stalking a lion, you sneak up quietly so he won't hear you. Now you're stalking.
Who's talking? I didn't say a word. You're doing all the talking.
No, Costello, I'm only trying to tell you, when you are stalking, you must walk very quietly.
Okay, then I'll take off my shoes and walk on my stocking feet.
All right, but don't make any noise, because a lion is stalking too. And if he hears you, he may break into a run.
How do you like that? Now the lion has a run in a stocking.
The lion has not got a run in his stocking.
Then he must be wearing lion stockings.
Listen, you idiot. You idiot, you stalk the lion until you get his scent. Then the lion gets your scent.
Now he's got me matching pennies with a lion.
Oh, Mr. Costello, say, you know that dose of sulfur molasses you fixed for me yesterday?
Yes. Did you take the sulfur and molasses?
I took it, but I'm sure you put too much sulfur in it.
How do you know?
Well, this morning when the barber massaged me, my nose lit up.
That's Abbott's nephew, folks. That boy would make a lovely stranger.
Costello, what was the idea of giving him sulfur molasses? I told you to give him an alcohol rub.
Well, I didn't have any alcohol, Abbott, so I rubbed him down with a bottle of beer, and he nearly broke his neck.
How?
Trying to blow the foam off his back.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Turhan Finkelbinder.
Turhan Finkelbinder?
Right?
That's a funny name.
What's funny about it? There's lots of Finkelbinders. Of course, my friends call me Professor Melonhead.
Get a load of that shiny skull. Is that your head, or did somebody pump up a lemon?
You see, that's your fault, Mr. Abbott. You're a bad influence on this boy. Gentlemen, allow me to divulge my identity. I am president of the Cucamonga branch of the Glendale local of the San Fernando Valley division of the Lou Costello fan club, and I've been delegated to register a very vigorous protest, Mr. Abbott, against your derogatory and insinuating treatment of our idol, Mr. Lou Costello.
You see that, Abbott? I got friends.
That's right. Mr. Abbott, just because Mr. Lou Costello happens to be a poor, unsophisticated, illiterate, ignorant jerk with the intelligence quotient of a delinquent midget and is absolutely void of any semblance of brains, you think you can take advantage of him.
That's telling him, Mr. Finkelbinder.
Also, Mr. Abbott, just glance at Mr. Costello's blank, expressionless face. Notice that receding forehead, the thickness of his skull, the peculiar angle at which the ears leave the face, the peculiarity of his antediluvian physiognomy, the close resemblance between Lou Costello and the early form of the gargantuan ape. Now, Mr. Abbott, can you possibly blame Lou Costello for being a slovenly, unkempt, grubby-looking crumb?
You got him there, Finkelbinder. He ain't got a leg to stand on.
But surely, Mr. Finkelbinder, you can't mean that...
Come now, Mr. Abbott, don't quibble. Why don't you admit that you've seen more intelligent-looking specimens than Lou Costello in cages?
Oh, I don't know about
Oh,
that.
you know, Abbott, but you just don't want to remember.
Well, that about sums it up, Mr. Abbott. I think that I have conveyed to you the profound feelings of myself and Mr. Lou Costello's fans, whom I represent.
Nice going, Finkelbinder, old boy. Abbott, he certainly told you off.
Yes. I had to say it, Mr. Costello. Now you know that your fans stick up for you.
Thank you, pal.
That's all right. You're just swell, Costello. Why, you know you'd be another Beau Brummel if it wasn't for one thing, your posture. You see, Costello, your tummy pooches out. See that? And your hips droop in. Now, all you have to do is eliminate that. See what I mean? Down in front and back. Down in front and the tummy down in front
Now let me do it to you. Down in front and up in the back.
No, you see, Mr. Abbott, all this boy needs is the right posture, the advice. Improve the posture. Down in front.
Here we go again.
You see that? You get rid of that bad posture, and this man will no longer look like a beer barrel with a flat top. Down in front. Back. You see, Costello, I'm on your side. I'm sticking up for you.
Oh, and I've been thinking over what you said, Mr. Finkelbinder, and I'd like to have you do me a favor.
Why, certainly. What is it?
The next time you stand up for me, throw in a couple of knocks. I don't want people to think I'm perfect.
Oh, my. Why, of course, Mr. Costello, I'll be glad to oblige. Well, goodbye, Mr. Lou Costello, and remember...
I know, down in the front and up in the back.
Well, Costello friends are wonderful things.
Well, if I had a couple of more friends like him, I wouldn't need any enemies.
And that's only half the fun, folks. Just as many laughs yet to come. But first, listen to this. In the spring, a young man's fancy. But he can never get too fancy for the entertainment that's offered Wednesday nights on ABC. Our radio fare suits all tastes. Take tonight. After more laughs with Bud and Lou, you'll hear fast-talking, quick-witted Groucho Marx emceeing his much-discussed quiz program. Everyone's talking about his hilarious ad-libs as he interviews outstanding contestants. Then, after the Groucho Marx show's heard over most ABC stations, you'll hear the king of the crooners, the groaner himself, Bing Crosby. And there's a wealth of variety on Bing's great program. Wonderful music plus entertainment extras with an outstanding guest star. Following Der Bingle is the lilting Tony Martin Show, songs by Tony and lovely Evelyn Knight, and featuring comedian Alan Young. Yes, with more of Abbott and Costello, then Groucho Marx, Bing Crosby, and the Tony Martin Show featuring Alan Young, the outlook is certainly bright for great listening tonight on ABC. And now back to ABC's Abbott and Costello Show. Abbott and Costello singing star Susan Miller with Matty Malnick's orchestra. You Were Meant for Me.
You were meant for me. I was meant for you. Nature patterned you, and when she was done, you were all the sweet things rolled up in one. You're like a plaintive melody that never lets me free. For I'm content the angels must have sent you, and they meant you just for me. You were meant for me. I was meant for you. Nature patterned you, and when she was done, you were all the sweet things rolled up in one. You're like a melody that never lets me free. I'm content the angels must have sent you, and they meant you just for, really meant you. They meant you just for me.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Costello, it's Frank Nelson. Welcome to our show, Mr. Nelson. This is my partner, Lou Costello.
Well, Mr. Costello, how do you do? Likewise, I'm sure.
Mr. Nelson, I've been telling Costello what a great dramatic actor you are. Look at Mr. Nelson, Costello.
Boy, are you lost.
Quiet, please.
Are you right? Go
I
ahead.
said, look at Mr. Nelson.
Boy, am I lost.
There is a man.
Oh, you got a continuation.
He
Well,
has the
continue.
charm. He has the charm of a dozen men and the body of a prize fighter.
What's the matter with me?
Well, I'd say you have the charm of a prize fighter and the body of a dozen men. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a funny one.
You know, Mr. Nelson, if it wasn't for that curly beard, you'd look just like my Aunt May.
But I don't have a curly beard.
I know, but my Aunt May has.
Quiet, Costello. Mr. Nelson, you're a smart, sophisticated actor, and we're making a new picture. And I thought you could give Costello some tips on how to improve himself.
Well, what would you like to know, Costello?
Well, we'd like to know how you get women like you do.
And then?
That's all. From there on, I'll take my chances.
Very well. I'll give you a practical demonstration in lovemaking. Costello, suppose we pretend that you are a pretty girl.
I don't have to pretend I'm pretty. I am pretty. I'll just pretend I'm a girl.
Cut that out, Costello.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
me?
Now, wait a minute. Go ahead, Mr. Nelson.
Come, Costello, let's sit on the love seat, here in the moonlight. There. Isn't this romantic?
Mr. Nelson, you're making me blush. Cut it out.
Now I put my hand around your waist.
2 to 1, he don't make it.
Now I place your head upon my shoulder.
Oh, Mr. Nelson. Oh, don't, Mr. Nelson.
I say to you, darling, you must be mine. I can't live without you. Then I take this diamond ring out of my
Yes.
pocket and I place it on your finger.
Yes.
Now, what do you say?
Do you believe in long engagements?
Pardon me, gentlemen. Mr. Nelson, would you step over here a minute? I'd like to talk to you, please.
Will you excuse me, please?
Oh, certainly.
Well, Costello, what do you think of Frank Nelson?
Abbott, I think he's wonderful. He's so handsome. He has so much refinement, finessity, and subtlety.
What are you trying to say?
I mean, he's suave.
I think you mean he is suave.
Suave is something I put on my corns. Corn suave.
Mr. Costello, I have my director here, and he's been watching you. He seems to think you'd fit into one of my pictures.
Well, we need a strong, healthy character to assist Mr. Nelson with his part. You see, this picture has some strenuous scenes. Mr. Nelson, being a very valuable actor, the studio does all it can to protect his classical features and his physique. So, when the action in the picture gets too rough, I want Costello to step in and take Mr. Nelson's place.
Abbott, I don't think I'm going to like this.
Quiet, Costello. You may never get a chance like this again.
That's what I'm afraid of.
All right, we're ready for the first scene. Mr. Nelson is playing the part of a spy. The scene is a cafe. Seated at a table alone is Madame Zilch. Mr. Nelson sees her, decides to make her acquaintance. He's after valuable information which she possesses. You see, he is going to interrogate her.
He wouldn't dare.
Have it quiet. Quiet! We're ready to shoot the scene. Lights, camera, action.
Aha, there's Madame Zilch, the daughter of the munition maker. She's alone. I'll speak to her. Good evening, Madame Zilch. You look so lovely, I couldn't resist speaking to you.
How dare you speak to a lady you don't know?
Oh, but, madam, the ladies I do know won't speak to me.
Oh, a wise guy, eh? I got a good mind to slap you in the puss.
As you wish, madame.
Okay, I'll give you a belt in the puss that'll break your shoelaces. Take...
Cut! Costello, step in.
Okay, I'm here.
Ready, Madame Zilch?
You said it.
Action.
Take that!
Oh, that was marvelous, Mr. Nelson. That's acting. I'm proud of you.
What are you talking about? I did the acting. He wasn't even in the scene.
Quiet! Now, the next scene, Madame Zilch's father is entering the cafe, and seeing his daughter in distress, he decides to teach you a lesson.
Me?
Of course not. He's going to teach Mr. Nelson a lesson.
Something tells me I am going to be late for school.
All right, let's shoot the scene. The father speaks. Lights, camera, action.
You cur! How dare you speak to my daughter?
But, sir, she's so beautiful I couldn't resist.
Why, that's a lie. I've got a good mind to take this 2-quart beer bottle and part your hair with it.
As you wish.
Give me that bottle. Remember, you asked for it.
Cut. Costello, step in.
All right, Costello, I'm here. That hurt your head?
Oh, no. I've always wanted to be 9 inches taller.
That was wonderful, Mr. Nelson. Such dramatic suspense. What a scene, Mr. Nelson. You have so much color.
I'm black and blue all over, and he's got so much color.
Quiet! Quiet! Now, we're ready for the
like to change parts?
We are now ready for the next scene. Nelson, you start off across the desert. You've been walking through the burning sand for 5 days. You're dying of thirst. Suddenly, you see a native water carrier. You plead with him for a little water to save your life, right? Lights, camera, action.
Please, kind sir, give me some water. I'm dying of thirst. I must have water. I've got to have water. Give me some water.
Cut. Costello, step in. Now, read the last line. Give me some water.
You still want to change parts? Give me some water.
No. Say loud. Give me some water with feeling.
Give me some water with feeling.
That's the way to take the water.
Oh, what do you expect? Give me some water. I got it. Quick. A little water. Abbott, before that scene, I had a Hershey bar in my pocket. Now my shoes are full of cocoa.
Gentlemen, the next scene is the death scene.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was coming. Abbott, I'm getting out of here.
Look, Costello, you're acting like a cow, and I'm
I'm
enjoying
not
this.
acting.
Quiet in this scene.
I'm enjoying this.
I said quiet. In this scene, Mr. Nelson is struggling for his life at the edge of a steep cliff, 3,000 feet above the ocean.
Nelson is struggling for his life. Suppose he falls off that cliff. I'm liable to get killed.
All right, Mr. Nelson, you meet Bud Abbott on the edge of the cliff. You start the fight. You roll to the edge of the cliff, all right? Camera, lights, action.
Good morning, Mr. Abbott.
I just got even with one of those boys.
Good morning, Mr. Abbott. Nice weather we're having.
Yes, isn't it? Lovely day for a fight.
I'll tell you what let's do. You see the edge of that cliff?
Yes?
Well, I'll toss you for it.
Now, you rascal, roll close to the edge of the cliff.
Is this close enough, Mr. Technicolorich?
Okay, cut. Costello, step in. Over you go.
Costello! Costello! He's down there someplace. Costello, come up here. Where are you?
Here I am, Abbott. I think I made a hole clean through the middle of the earth. I went deeper than any other man ever went before.
You certainly went down into the ground. It's too bad you didn't have some means of recording how deep you went.
Think of it, Costello. You may have broken a world's record. If only you had proof.
Proof? I've got a witness. I met this guy at the bottom. He'll tell you.
Now, before Abbott and Costello have their final fling, we bring you one more thought on this subject. Now that spring's here, Bud and Lou will probably be spending much time in the woods studying the flora and the fauna. But for the fauna immediately following Bud and Lou this evening, be sure to stay tuned for the Groucho Marx Show. You'll find Groucho's ad-libs more fauna than a monkey full of barrels. And tonight at 10 in the East, at 9 elsewhere, don't miss the wonderful Bing Crosby Show featuring a famous guest star, and the mirthful musical Tony Martin Show featuring comedian Alan Young, which follows Bing. Every Wednesday night from early to late, the listening's great on ABC. So next week, tune in early and hear all the hit shows broadcast over most of these ABC stations Wednesday night. Mayor of the Town starring Lionel Barrymore in a heartwarming drama. Vox Pop with Parks Johnson and Warren Hull as MCs. Abbott and Costello, Groucho Marx, Bing Crosby, and the Tony Martin Show featuring Alan Young. And now back for a final word from ABC's Abbott and Costello Show. And now here are Abbott and Costello with the final word.
Folks, we want to remind you of the big contest on our Saturday morning Abbott and Costello Kid Show.
You can win over $20,000 in prizes, including a $5,000 airplane, a $3,000 automobile, a live baby elephant, a $3,000 house trailer, and thousands of dollars more in big prizes. You can win them all by entering this contest, folks, and at the same time, you'll be doing your part to fight juvenile delinquency.
It's really a worthwhile project, folks, so remember to tune in Saturday morning.
That's over ABC Saturday morning, the Abbott and Costello Kid Show. You can hear it over most of these same ABC stations.
See you Saturday.
See you next Wednesday night, too.
Good night, folks.
Good night, folks. Good night, everybody in Patterson. Good night.
Listen each Wednesday night at this time for another great Abbott and Costello show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood by Charles Vanda and featuring Susan Miller and Matty Malnick's orchestra. This is Michael Roy saying goodbye until this same time next Wednesday. Be sure to stay tuned for the outstanding entertainment which follows throughout the evening on this ABC station.